Hey everybody in the RMBC course. I'm excited to be making this module for you. My name is Jerrod Harlan. I am a copywriter with Natural Health Sherpa, and I just wanted to, whenever I had the opportunity to present this email formula, I jumped on it right away. This formula has been life-changing to me, but I will talk about that in a minute. So I'm calling this the Minimalist $1 Million Email Formula for a very good reason. It really is as minimal as you can get. It's a 4-part formula, and as long as you know the 4 parts of this formula and you can fill it out, you almost have your email written. So anyway, minimal effort, maximum results. Even newbie copywriters can use this. It all comes down to just, again, 4 parts of the equation, and having some research before you do that. So that's really it. Let's jump into it. First, going to talk about my story with this formula. So I started at Natural Health Sherpa in August of 2019. Now, I had been copywriting for about just over a year at the point that I started with Natural Health Sherpa, and I rarely wrote emails. I was writing long form. All I really wanted to write was long form. And if you're not on Natural Health Sherpa's list, you should be, first of all. But our emails are very short. They're typically 100 to 130 words. So going from writing long form stuff to writing these really short emails that have a whole persuasive architecture was very difficult. You're really forcing yourself to pare down your language, to pare down your writing, and write the most concise, powerful sentences possible. So it was very challenging for me for a while. Because like I said, if I did write emails, it was longer form, story-based. Think of like Andre Chaperone, Ben Settle, Jeff Walker launch style emails. Like that's what I was used to writing if I was writing emails at all. So like I said, writing these short clicker emails, and the point of clicker is that you're just getting somebody enticed enough to go to the sales letter. So you're just getting them to click in the email. You're not trying to do any of like the selling or anything like that. Just getting them to click over to the sales letter or the video sales letter to let it do the heavy lifting. So it was harder than I expected. And I really kind of guessed a lot. Throughout the first 3 months, I'd say I had some emails that actually did fairly well, but most of them were pretty much failures. They either just bombed entirely or they lost to Tanner's emails, who is the other copywriter at Natural Health Sherpa. And so one day I had a successful email, and we were going through the results with the owner of Natural Health Sherpa, Mark Stockman. And he kind of just threw out the basis of this formula. He was describing it, and I really liked it. So I sort of took it and like molded it into this 4-letter, formula that I'm gonna show you here in a second. And I started writing all of my emails with this formula, just following the letters, right? It just super simple, following the letters. And within the past 6 months, because I've only been there for 9 months now, within the past 6 months, it's helped me actually bring in over $1 million in affiliate commissions since I've started using it. So what is the formula? PWAT. It is literally this simple. Like I said, it's 4 letters. If you can remember PWAT, you can write pretty much any email that is, as long as it connects with the reader, is probably going to do fairly well. So what does it stand for? Well, PWA stands for problem, why it's a problem / unique mechanism, agitation, and T's solution. So this is nothing more than an AIDA offshoot. I'm sure you've seen AIDA, ADA. It's like the most well-known copywriting formula out there. It stands for attention, interest, desire, action. So if we go through letter by letter, you can see that PWAT is almost just a honing in or a narrowing down of ADA, whereas the problem that you're calling out or that you're revealing in your email, which is that first step, is with the intention of getting of their attention. Why it's a problem / unique mechanism is building up the interest around the problem that you just called out / that you're presenting. The agitation is almost the reverse, like they have the desire to not have those problems anymore. So you're agitating them to get out of that state that they're in, right? And then teasing the solution is where you're asking for the action. That's where the call to action comes in. So it lines up really well with the ADA formula, but it is, just like I said, more of a narrowing in on the formula rather than just saying, okay, well, what do I say to get their attention? Well, you get their attention by calling out a problem, right? So that's how it works. And we'll go through each step in a couple minutes here too. So you'll see more of what that means. This works for short or long emails. Like I said, at Natural Health Sherpa, we write really short 100, 115 word emails, but you can also take this and you can write a 200 word email. You'll see in the other section, the other part of this module, where I actually do a live writing session with Michael Roshan. You'll see that his email comes out to be, the first draft of his email comes out to be, 300 words or so. So it does work for longer type emails. And it really works well for short emails too. I'll show you examples of 5 that I wrote that were winning, that, are controls / beta control. And then I'm going to show you some emails from outside of just health. I think there is one health in there, but you'll see from Make Money Online, copywriting, general marketing, financial, you'll see some examples, and you'll see how other copywriters are actually using PWAT without even sort of realizing it, and how flexible it really is. And I do want to mention that this might seem too easy. And I just say that now because you're going to read my emails, or I'm going to read you my emails, and you're going to question, like, really, these did so well? And I say that because, like, I'm not an overly emotional writer. I can't write with an extreme amount of empathy like some people can. And that's why I've turned to this formula so much, is because I saw that it worked. And so I use it over and over again because it's sort of filling in for my shortcomings as an emotional writer, per se. So as with any copywriting in general, there are a few things you need to know before writing. And obviously you need to know your list and your offer. Well, the list is the absolutely critical, just like super important part of this whole equation. You have to know who's on your list. You have to know their emotional state, how they're feeling, what's the transformation they desire, their pain points. You need to know that if they're, say, in weight loss, well, you might even, you know that they need to lose weight, but Maybe you can even dig out how much weight. Like, what's the average prospect overweight by? Are they 50 pounds overweight? Like, that might be a really hard thing to discover, but the more you know about your list, the better. And it's not even just so much about the people in the list as it is the type of list as well. So there are two main types of lists. There's a churn and burn list, and there's a relationship list. If you're on Stefan's email list, then you're on a relationship list because you're probably reading his emails every day or however many days he puts them out. And you don't really have any necessary reason to leave his list. So that's a relationship list. He's constantly building a relationship with you so that when he has a product, you have an already innate desire to have that product because he's taken the time to build that rapport with you. Even if he's not like your close friend and he's not talking to you face to face, you sort of feel like it. Justin Goff has the same type of list. You know, a lot of copywriting gurus have a relationship list. Now, versus a churn and burn list. So a churn and burn list is like a list similar to Agora Financial, Natural Health Sherpa. We have a churn and burn list. The point of a churn and burn list is that they get on the list. They're probably not going to be there for more than 30, 60, 90 days. So you're sending a lot of affiliate offers typically to maximize how much each person is worth, even though they're going to only be on the list for a short amount of time, maybe 3 months max. Now, this churn and burn list, you can turn your relationship-based list into a churn and burn list. I don't recommend it. But a churn and burn list is you can't always work yourself into a relationship list. You can destroy your list and turn a relationship list into a churn and burn list, but you can't always turn a churn and burn list into a relationship list. And the reason being is Justin Goff talked about this at one point, and I really loved his explanation, and I'm going to butcher it. But it's essentially that a churn and burn list is made up of people who are only going to be interested in what you offer for a particular amount of time. So if you think about weight loss, people go through the desire to lose weight in waves. And when they're super hot, and bothered about losing weight, they're at that tip top of that, wave, they're going to go and join Natural Health Sherpa's list. They're going to join the Truth About Abs list. They're going to join Organics list. They're going to join all Paleo Hacks list. They're going to join all of these health lists, all of these weight loss lists. And then they either find what helps them and they buy a product and it works for them and they lose the weight or whatever. Or they naturally come down off of that wave. They think, you know what, I'll start my weight loss January 1st, or I'll start it next year, or I'll start it next week, or whatever. And they just stop being hot and bothered by their desire to lose weight. So they end up either just totally ignoring you now, they send you to spam, they report you, they just unsubscribe. Optimally, they just unsubscribe, right? Or they get cleaned off of the list after a certain amount of time of not clicking on your emails. So that's the difference between churn and burn and relationship. And the reason why at Natural Health Sherpa we can write such short, curiosity-based emails to just get them to the lander, to get them to the video sales letter, the text sales letter, is because we have a churn and burn list. So we're just trying to send them out the shortest, most convincing emails to get them to our affiliate offers. Whereas a relationship list, you can still use this PWAT formula, but it's usually going to be drawn out more. And again, we'll talk about that. So, a few other things to really start filling in this PWAT formula. You need to know what's the unique way the product solves their problem, what's the counterintuitive way the product solves their problem, And what are the stories or testimonials the reader will relate with? Not all three of these have to be in every single email, but it's nice to know because now you can start creating different emails to the same product with the same formula, I might add. But it's just nice to know these three things so that you have options when you go to write. Now, before we get right into the PWAT, I need to mention that the first sentence is critical to this email. It is the 80-20 of this email. If you don't spend 80% of your time on this email, you're going to lose the majority of your results. So even though the headline, or even though the first line is 20% of the email, it's bringing in the 80% of your results. If that's what it means, if you haven't heard of the 80-20 rule. People are really busy. If they click on your email, if you don't hook them immediately, they're going to click out, right? And I'd say there's probably even a higher chance of them reporting you as spam if you constantly send these emails that just don't relate to them, don't attach, don't attract them, don't hook them in some way. One of the easiest ways to not hook them right away is to do throat clearing. And that means writing a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff before getting to the heart of their problem. I'm sure you see a ton of throat clearing. I'm sure if you are an active copywriter that you might be writing a lot of throat clearing, and it's not bad to do so. I think most people do. And obviously following a formula will help you stay away from it. But it's like that whole thing that you've probably heard in copywriting, like take your first draft and take the first 5 paragraphs and get rid of them, or take the first page and a half and get rid of it. And that's where you should start, right? Because when you're writing a rough draft, you just are usually spewing. You're just sort of writing everything. And so you do a lot of warm-up copy. And instead, you just want to get to the heart of the issue right away without any of that throat clearing. A great person to read to really understand what it means to not throat clear is not only Stefan, but I'm blanking on his name. Michael Fiore. Chris Haddad. There we go. Chris Haddad's sales letters in the relationship space are really amazing at just cutting the crap in the first line is just super powerful. So if you ask yourselves a few questions, you will train yourself to start writing a powerful first sentence a lot easier. And along with those other 3 questions of like, what's the new way this solves it? What's the unique way or the counterintuitive way? You can ask yourself, what's the new piece of information that you're presenting? Maybe it's a counterintuitive piece of information. Like that's how we get into the email in Michael's example that you'll see in the other part of the module. What's the counterintuitive solution? What's the most beneficial thing I can say? Or what's the biggest pain point? You'll see one of my emails that I'm going to talk about is all I do is call out the problem, but it's a big problem to these people. Like this is the problems that they care about. And then why should they listen to me versus everyone else in the inbox? So again, this comes back to what I just said a few minutes ago. Most people's inbox are inundated with emails and are inundated with marketing emails. So you really have to have a power-packed first sentence to really make sure that they read the rest of it. And if you look at somebody's inbox, this is what they see. Tons of emails all over the place to all the different lists that they sign up to. You can see inbox 7,762. Like that's a ton of emails. And you're never going to go through all of them. Nobody goes through all of them. They only go through the ones that they're interested in. So I put myself in the head of like a 60-year-old conservative. Um, if I'm a 60-year-old conservative and I'm looking at this screen and this is my email, this is my email homepage, right? I've underlined and read the things that might actually appeal to me. Maybe I'm a 60-year-old single, divorced conservative. So, what 9 words to say in the first 3 minutes that make her want you? Well, that's definitely interesting to me. If I'm single, if I'm just entering back into the dating pool or something. COVID-19 gun bans, that's going to be important to me. I'm probably statistically a gun owner. Is this little deadly pill in your medicine cabinet? That probably interests me. I'm probably taking a handful of medications. Some of them a doctor prescribed, some of them are over the counter. Act tonight and you could make 5 or even 6 figures on a single trade. The financial list is made up of like 60 to 70-year-old white conservatives. So that financial stuff is always going to appeal to that market, my market. Windex trick for sharper eyesight. I'm getting up there in age. I'm 60 years old. Maybe my eyes aren't working as well as they used to. So this subject line is super heavy curiosity based. And it makes me like, okay, well, I want sharper eyesight. What is this Windex trick? Like, how does that work? Am I just cleaning my glasses? Am I, whatever it is. So I've underlined, but all of these other things like tinfoil art and Amazon, that doesn't necessarily call out to me. 28-day challenge to get shredded at home. Maybe I don't really want to be shredded. I mean, maybe if I did want to be shredded, if I wanted to be like the 60-year-old on the beach with abs, like this might call out to me. But you can see here, I just highlighted a couple. So that's what you have to compete against, is all this other noise. All right, so without further ado, I'm just going to get into what the actual formula is. I need to move myself here. Okay, so the first letter is problem. Again, we talked about this earlier, that this email formula works for long or short emails. So if you're writing for a longer email, like a story-based one to a relationship list or something, you can use the story to demonstrate the problem. This is how a lot of sales letters start. This is why Stefan's sales letters are so effective, right? Because he's telling a story at the beginning and he's building the problem into that story. So the narrator or the main character of his sales letters has all of the problems that the people who are reading the sales letter have. So he's demonstrating the problem without necessarily just directly calling out the problem. He's using that story to relay the problem. Now, inversely, if you're writing a short email, like what we write at Natural Health Sherpa, you can directly call out the problem. I mean, you can directly call out the problem in a longer one, but stories do work really well. So again, nothing is like cut and dry, hard and fast with this. You can do it either way. Like you can write a powerful 2-sentence story and use it in your email. But just for like easy to remember rules, quote unquote, if you're writing long, you can use a story and build the problem into it. Or if you're writing short, you can just directly call out the problem. So again, ask yourself, what's the most unique, exciting, pain-driven, curiosity-provoking way that you can call out the problem? So I'm going to show you an actual email just in sections here of a winning email that I actually have that's still control for Sherpa, and what the text says in each, and how it fits into each part of the formula. So, do you suffer from embarrassing gas, bloating, or a big bulging belly? There's nothing exciting or unique or curiosity-provoking about that, but it is extremely pain-driven. That is the problem that our market is facing. They hate having like a protruding belly. They feel like crap because they're bloating. They, fart in public, so they have embarrassing gas. Like these are all things that are inherently emotional to them. So even without like writing this over the top emotional empathetic copy, I'm sort of poking the pain that they're suffering just by calling it out. Again, like I said, I follow this formula because I'm not an incredibly emotional writer. So this helps me sort of tap into the emotion without being the best at it, I guess. Uh, Sorry about that. So why it's a problem slash unique mechanism. The easy way to sort of break this one down, because it does cover sort of a lot, is that you're taking the problem and you're adding a unique angle to it. You're revealing new information about the problem that they're facing. So that's why I say you think that, but it's actually this. So if you look, and I'm going to show you the text at the bottom here because it perfectly demonstrates that you think that, but it's actually this, or it's actually because of this. So the problem was that they have embarrassing gas, a bulging belly, or I forget what the other thing was, bloating. So if the answer is yes, chances are your stomach doesn't have enough acid to properly break down the food you eat. Without stomach acid, food just piles up in your stomach and rots. So here, I'm giving them the unique mechanism as to why they're facing that problem. So this is why they have that problem. In another way of writing this, where the problem is more curiosity driven, where you're kind of revealing the problem and a unique mechanism at the same time, I call it like the counterintuitive first sentence, leads perfectly into this. If you go and watch Michael's example, we use a counterintuitive or a, thought-provoking first sentence that leads right into the unique mechanism. So I'm getting their attention by sort of demonstrating in the first sentence that what they think is wrong or why they're suffering, these negative side effects, and then immediately going into the unique mechanism. Like, I'm going to reveal to you why, this is why you're facing those problems. So you can either combine, and this comes back to there's no hard or fast rules with this, you can combine sort of this section into the first sentence and have like a counterintuitive first sentence where you're kind of revealing the unique mechanism, and then this section would sort of like dive into it more. Or you can just have a purely problem-based first sentence. So again, you can mix and sort of mash it together. For longer emails, this is the part where you can expand more on the unique mechanism. You can dive into this, the why it's a problem more, because this is the part that's sort of revealing that new information to your prospect. So it's going to be if you got their attention with your first with your first line, then this section is going to be super interesting to them, because they're really going to want to know why they're facing those problems. And this is sort of offering that new info that is going to get them one step closer to solving that problem. So then you agitate it. Again, this comes back to emotional hot buttons. These are the things that you want to know before writing. And poking at these emotional hot buttons is how you build up the emotional part of your copy. Again, as somebody who's not like overly emotional, literally just calling out the side effects of the problem, or the problem again, is just a simple way to agitate it more. So in this last one, and so I say this new solution will help them avoid XYZ. Those are the problems that they're facing, or it'll help them avoid XYZ without ABC, which would be the common solutions. So you see here, if the answer is yes, chances are your stomach doesn't have enough acid to properly break down the food you eat. Without stomach acid, food just piles up in your stomach and rots, leading to bloating, gas, and stubborn weight gain. So I'm sort of just rehashing what I said in the first sentence, but it keeps that concise, linear line of thought. And then I'm going to tease it, right? So I'll read the end sentence first. So I say, leading to bloating, gas, and stubborn weight gain. Boosting your production of stomach acid can help you break down the food in your stomach and flush it out of your body, shrinking a big tummy in 24 hours. Here's how to do it. Eat this to break down rotting food and safely lose up to 1 pound per day. Now, mind you, this is all from an affiliate offer. So what I'm saying in this email is based on what they're saying in the offer itself. But this section right here, you can see that it's just a linear line of thought from the agitation to and the unique mechanism now to the T's. Because I'm saying, if you didn't get it earlier, like you probably don't have enough stomach acid. Well, here's a way to boost your stomach acid so that you can actually lose weight and not suffer from those, from embarrassing gas, bloating, or a bulging tummy. So the T's, you tease what they really want. And what they really want is just on the other side of clicking the call to action. You can use words like new, breakthrough. It's a new breakthrough solution. It's easy. It doesn't take a lot of time, and you'll discover it when you click here. This is all just stuff to build the excitement, build the, build the thought in their head that they are just one click away from solving their problems. In short emails, the whole point is to just get them to the video sales letter, and that's where you let the sales letter do the heavy lifting when the sales letter is good. So we might be pushing them to a sales letter, but let's say it's not such a hot sales letter, it's not such a good sales letter. Well, we might end up writing a little bit longer of an email that does a little more of the selling so that when they get there, it's not all on the sales letter to do the heavy lifting. So there are ways to sort of, if you write a longer email and do more of the selling, then you take some of the weight off of the sales letter itself by building up the enticement. In terms of, so in the short emails, heavy curiosity, just get them to the damn page, right? The page is what's going to convert them, so just get them there. In the longer emails, you can take more time to tease. You can borrow, reveal more from the sales letter to persuade a buying decision. You can, again, expand in the unique mechanism section. You can expand in the teasing section / the end of it. Again, nothing hard and fast with this. This is more of just like the formula to where you can expand how you desire and what's necessary for what you're writing for. You can even go into the unique mechanism of the solution. So in this bottom example, where I'm talking about boosting your stomach acid, maybe there's 3 specific foods that they need to eat in order to boost their stomach acid production. So that would be the unique mechanism of the solution. As Stefan says, Stefan has this in all of his sales letter, the unique mechanism of the problem and the unique mechanism of the solution. The UM of the solution isn't always necessary in these emails, but if you want the email to do more of the heavy lifting, you can add it in there. And then there's something that we call the mini testimonial trick. And I think you'll see an example of this, but it's basically where we add a 1-sentence testimonial into the end of the email that sort of adds a story into this, demonstrates some proof, and is just a good way to really get them excited. Because, testimonials are good things, right? It builds up that the safety in the reader's mind that this is working for other people. But it does something else. It also shows the transformation a lot of times. So if the mini testimonial was like, I used to get sick all the time, and then I tried this, and I haven't been sick for 5 years. Like, that's showing a transformation. It's showing the transformation that your prospect wants. They're sick a lot. They don't want to be sick a lot. This thing helped this other person achieve that. So here is the full example that I've been breaking down into the PWAT. Do you suffer from embarrassing gas, bloating, or a big bulging belly? If the answer is yes, chances are your stomach doesn't have enough acid to properly break down the food you eat. Without stomach acid, food just piles up in your stomach and rots, leading to bloating, gas, and stubborn weight gain. Boosting your production of stomach acid can help break down the food in your stomach and flush it out of your body, shrinking a big tummy in just 24 hours. Here's how to do it. Eat this to break down rotting food and safely lose up to 1 pound per day. So you see it all together. You see the problem. You see the unique mechanism. You see the agitation, and then the teasing the solution. Now you'll see here's a longer one. But this one, even though it's longer, and even though it's sending to a financial offer, it still follows the same PWAT. We normally send you the most relevant health info, but with so much financial uncertainty right now, we also wanted to send you info about growing your wealth from sources we actually trust. We have a health list at Natural Health Sherpa, obviously, and we want to send a financial promo to them. So we have to make the connection as to why we're sending it. So that first sentence, even though it's not necessarily getting to the heart of the issue, it needs to be in there to sort of introduce the email, right? So shutting down the economy has taken a massive toll on hardworking Americans, 22 million unemployment applications, and thousands of business going bust. That's the problem. Our readers might be business owners. They might be people who were in, working at a non-essential business. It might have been people who were furloughed, or that time was stripped and now they're only working 2 days a week versus 5. Whatever, like, people are suffering right now. And so this is calling out that problem. That's precisely why the next big movers in the stock market will be companies who need the most workers and can bring back America's glorious production force it was known for. That is the unique mechanism. And if you knew how to spot these businesses, you could invest now and potentially reap huge rewards for getting in early. So we're saying the problem is that the economy is shut down and people are losing their jobs. The unique mechanism is that if you can spot these businesses early, you can make money. In fact, there's a small company trading around $3 that has secured multi-million-dollar contracts and is set to build huge production facilities across the country. That means tens of thousands of new American jobs, with one governor estimating 13,000 new direct jobs, 22,000 indirect, and 10,000 construction jobs in his state alone. This is, as I said, you can dive more into the unique mechanism, and that's exactly what this paragraph is doing. It's taking that idea that you can invest now in small companies that are building and that are going to need a lot of workforce, and it's proving that that there is this one company that's only trading at $3, but it is providing all of the necessities for what's going to be required for a company who's going to skyrocket right now in this economy. It's no wonder this company's stock price could skyrocket. It's supplying the jobs Americans desperately need. That's the agitation section. And I kind of want to add into the agitation section and call it agitation or acceleration. Because you can also, in this part of it, you can just sort of like build on the benefits that you're saying earlier in the email. And so you're accelerating. You're not necessarily agitating like the pain, but you're accelerating the pleasure. So this company's price could skyrocket. Like that's an acceleration statement. It's supplying the jobs Americans desperately need. And that's an agitation statement. But it's also an acceleration as well because it's building on the logical flow of conversation that I'm making with the prior two paragraphs. And now I'm going to tease. And our friend at the Oxford Club, stock picking legend Alexander Green, just gave the most impressive live presentation regarding this company. He revealed all the details as to why this single stock could help pay for a comfortable retirement. Go here for the details. You could retire wealthy on this $3 stock. Find out before the stock goes to the moon. So this email did incredibly well. And all I did was follow PWAT. Another one. You may notice, no matter what diet you try, paleo, gluten-free, vegetarian, or keto, or how much you work out, it seems almost impossible to lose the stubborn weight on your tummy, thighs, or upper arms. So here is the problem and sort of why it's a problem. No. Because, see, I'm building in like all of the things that they're trying to. This one's more just the problem. I'm trying to remember which. I know there's one in here where I sort of build in the unique mechanism into the first sentence, but here's where I go into the unique mechanism. That's because eating one common health food can cause bloating, cravings, and constipation, all of which lead to unwanted weight gain. So here's where this is where I'm mixing two of the sections. I'm mixing in, that's because eating one common health food, so that's revealing the unique mechanism, and it's very counterintuitive because I'm calling it a health food. But this health food is causing bloating, cravings, and constipation. There's your agitation, all of which lead to unwanted weight gain, more agitation. So unless you avoid this health food, you'll struggle to lose weight. Agitation. And that's sort of teasing the solution, right? Unless you avoid this health food, you'll struggle to lose weight. Even if you follow an extreme diet or work out 6 days a week, here's the health food to avoid. And then that's the tease, right? So this is the tease. Here's the health food to avoid. Avoiding this one health food helped America's top cardiologists kill sugar cravings and lose 70 pounds. So the first sentence is the problem. The second paragraph is the unique mechanism and a bunch of agitation. And then I tease the solution and the call to action. According to Stanford research, your thyroid is not the most important factor for a fast fat-burning metabolism. So the problem that I'm calling out here is that people believe that they need a fast metabolism to burn fat. And I'm saying, so this is the one where I'm sort of mashing together the problem and the unique mechanism. And I'm just starting with a very curiosity-driven first sentence, because according to Stanford research, which is proof, your thyroid is not the most important factor for a fast fat-burning metabolism. So that gets them thinking about the problems without even necessarily directly calling out the problem. So they're thinking, oh, well, oh man, I've been thinking about how I need to have a fast metabolism, but maybe that's not why I'm not losing weight. So you'll see here in the second section where I'd go more into the unique mechanism, it's actually a fat-storing hormone made by your adrenal glands. And if you have too much of this hormone, your metabolism grinds to a halt no matter how healthy your thyroid is. There's the agitation. If you have too much of this hormone, your metabolism grinds to a halt no matter how healthy your thyroid is. That's the agitation right there. Luckily, there's a simple way to switch off this hormone and speed up your metabolism so you can start burning the stubborn fat on your tummy, thighs, and upper arms in a matter of days. Here it is. 2 drops of this, first thing in the morning, switches off fat-storing hormones. That's the tease. If you read luckily, thankfully, whatever, that sort of transitions from the pain that we're talking about to, hey, luckily there's this, that's teasing the solution. So you can see that I pack all 3 parts of the formula, the first 3 parts of the formula, into the first paragraph, and then the second paragraph is just the tease with the call to action. Puffy eye bags are under your eyes are caused by a lack of sleep, right? Wrong. So there's the problem. Our prospects are dealing with puffy bags, puffy under eye bags. And the counterintuitive thing is that they believe that it's from a lack of sleep. But that's wrong. So here's the unique mechanism. New research from Harvard and the Mayo Clinic shows that that eye bags are actually caused by toxins trapped under the skin. These toxins, all right, and now here we're going to be getting into the agitation. These toxins will make your eyes look puffy, tired, and older, no matter how much you sleep at night. And now I'm going to tease the solution. Fortunately, there's now a way to flush the trapped toxins from under your skin and shrink eye bags in 7 minutes or less. Shrink under eye bags in just 7 minutes with this, all natural. So again, PWA is within the first not even half line of the paragraph, and then the tease is the last line in the call to action. And see how simple this is. And then I have some examples here. I have some examples from emails that I've gotten. And I want to quickly go through these to sort of point out again that you don't have to write them exactly how I write them. And really, you can write emails that don't even have a call to action with this formula. They don't always have to lead to a sales letter. They don't always have to lead to anything. They don't even have to lead to content. They can just be purely content emails and still follow this architecture. So if you go through this doc, you can see here that I'm, like in this Perry Marshall example, I'm going to go through them really quickly. I'm not going to read all of them. But you can see I have the problem highlighted in yellow, the why/the mechanism in green, the agitate and accelerate in blue, and the T solution in orange. And I wrote solution in there because some of these are just purely content emails where they sort of reveal the solution or just end it without any sort of call to action. And you can do it. So the problem here is that Perry Marshall is saying that you can't scale. And if you run an online business and you can't scale, that's a big problem. So he's kind of just diving into that problem. Then he reveals why. Scale is a lot harder than people say. And here's why. It's because of the martini glass principle. And then he describes the martini glass principle, and that's the unique mechanism. Then he agitates. It will save you from vagrant agencies that vacuum your wallet out and leave you dying of thirst on the side of the road. And then he gets back into covering the martini glass again. So this is a perfect example. All of my examples I showed you follow the structure, right? And they don't sort of, they mash a couple sections together maybe, but they don't really go back and forth between them. Well, you can go back and forth between them. You can see here that he is explaining a martini glass, then he's, agitating and sort of demonstrating what it will save you from. Then he goes back to describing the martini glass formula. Then he agitates it again. If you want 4x more traffic, it's going to cost you 8x more money, yada, yada. Scale gets real expensive real fast. That's an agitation. Then he talks about, now, is there any way to solve this? So after that sentence, he's talking about the way to solve it. If you double your conversion rate, customer acquisition costs stay the same, yet you 8x your market share. That's why I created Paradigm Shift, because if there's any way possible to 8x your market share, this is it. And then he has you sign up for Paradigm Shift. So you can see he gives away the solution, part of the solution, but Paradigm Shift is the way to 8x your market share. Paradigm Shift is the way to double your conversion rate so that you can scale. So we covered a financial example that I wrote, but this is an actual financial example to a financial list. So the virus has triggered a recession that's already worse than anything we saw around 2008. Most economists say that it'll be just as bad as the Great Depression. That's a huge problem. That's what people are worried about in the market. But there's no reason to be scared. These two legendary traders certainly aren't. With their new system, Rob Booker and Roger Scott are coming off a 12-week winning streak. So they don't even really go into the unique mechanism. They just say their new system. So their new system will save you from the problem. And then here's where we come into the acceleration statements. With their coming off of a 12-week winning streak, that's an acceleration statement on its own. One that's produced massive returns of 134% and even 326% acceleration. And they want to show you exactly how they did it. That's teasing the solution. They'll even give you one of their jump trades 100% free. That's an acceleration statement. And then click here to claim a free gift now. That goes back to teasing. So here's another financial one that was sent to a health list. With so many surprised with their tax return, this book couldn't have come at a better time. If you think you could be doing better financially, that's the problem. You get your tax return and you're surprised by how little you're getting back, I'm assuming. That's the problem. So that's what's on your mind right now. The unique mechanism is this free book from best-selling author Ted Bauman. And you can see here that they don't even get to the agitation before they do the teasing. So here they just totally switched up the A and T, but that's okay because it's more about the fact that you have these parts of the equation rather than that they're necessarily in this exact order. Inside, you'll learn how to squeeze as much as an extra $6,840 per year out of your Social Security benefits. So again, these 3 bullets are just teasing what's in the book, and they're providing solutions to your problem of doing better financially, of wanting to do better financially. And then they agitate, right? So they've teased it, now they're agitating. That's why I'm urgently trying to reach you. You need to claim this free book now. That's sort of an acceleration statement. And here's where the agitation comes in. There are only 500 free copies. I don't know if there are any more I can give away. Our supplies are limited. So here's one from Lawrence Bernstein, who is selling a copywriting swipe file. So the problem is good time copy is over. Crisis copy is king. It's true. In many markets, claims are bouncing off prospects like rubber bullets off of a tank. So this statement, again, this is sort of green. It kind of talks about the problem as well, but it's kind of providing some why it's a problem, why crisis copy is now king too. So again, nothing hard and fast. I just colored it yellow because it is part of the problem. Tell a weight loss prospect today she can lose 5 vanity pounds and she won't even hear you. So now he's diving more into why this is a problem. But tell her how lowering her BMI below 30 could potentially save her life and you've got her attention. The same is the case in many markets. So in the unique mechanism, he's showing that if you say this, it's not going to work. But if you say this, that's what you need to be talking about now. And then the agitation, it's the end of the line for bull market. Good times copy for now. But, and here, again, we make that transition statement, but it could be, luckily, that doesn't mean your sales have to suffer because there's a world of response waiting for you to tap with crisis copy. And that is the teasing. And then here's the call to action, why crisis copywriting is king. So this one follows it perfectly. Problem, unique mechanism, why it's a problem, agitation, and then you tease the solution. Here's one from Paradigm Press, which is Evaldo Albuquerque's new publisher, basically, an Agora subsidiary. Now this one, you'll see, doesn't even have a call to action. It's just a content email. But it can still follow these 4, this framework. So when someone says, I feel stressed, it often It's often meant as a bad thing, but for a moment, imagine how much more you'd get done, how easy it would be to overcome the challenges of work and everyday life if you enjoyed stress. So the problem is that it's a lot of copywriters on this list. Copywriters feel stressed a lot, whether it's because of looming deadlines or having a lot of work at one time or doing a lot of work and not making enough money, whatever it is, that's the stressed. I'm about to show you that stress might actually be the best thing for you. And when you understand the benefits of stress, I suspect you'll start savoring as much as I do. That is part of the unique mechanism / why it's a problem. So he's revealing that you can enjoy stress and there's benefits to enjoying stress. So then he transitions into a story, right? His story. And so, like I said before, when I was introducing the problem, is that you can use a story to demonstrate the problem. So because he used very little at the beginning, he's using his story to demonstrate the problem of being super busy, having super late nights, and long days at the office and weekends at the office. So the story is just, painting this picture of being stressed. And then, so he says, but here's the cool part. I'm not some freak of nature who doesn't get stressed. On the contrary, I've taken my whole life to get to this point, and I still have room to improve. Now he's going to talk about the unique mechanism again that he introed earlier. But one thing that's helped me get here is by researching the best ways to deal with my emotions, which nowadays isn't too hard considering the internet and the litany of academic literature on the subject. So he talks about distress and eustress, which distress is the common form of stress that causes dissatisfaction and depression, and eustress is the positive stress that causes enjoyment, focus, and personal growth. But here's the crazy part. Scientists have found the type of event doesn't impact whether it causes distress or eustress. It's actually the way we perceive these events. So he's just building up this unique mechanism, going into it deep. And it basically comes down to this. That means that your job or your spouse or your president or the coronavirus aren't responsible for your distress. You are. So now he's going to agitate this. Personally, when I first uncovered this idea, it was a breakthrough for me. So that's an acceleration. And since then, through study and practice, I've learned how to control the way I perceive stress. It's been a game changer. That's an acceleration statement. Because now I find high stakes, high intensity work to be some of the most enjoyable, fulfilling, and satisfying experience of my life. Again, acceleration. And here is where the solution comes in. So he's given you the solution, right? Via the unique mechanism. But this is sort of the call to action of this content-based email. And I suspect that by making a simple tweak to your own narrative about stress, the same could happen for you too. So if they had something to sell about, if they had like a mindset course, they'd put that here. But this is like a good way to sum it up. It's a good solution. It's a good way to just finish the email. And then this is actually a Facebook ad. So I wanted to show you that it doesn't just have to be emails, but it can be Facebook ads as well. So the problem is 1 in 3 people have arthritis or joint pain. Reason why / unique mechanism. Many people are unaware that one protein present in certain foods like tomatoes can cause inflammation. This one tiny mesh-like protein called fibrin, that's the unique mechanism right there. So that's what's causing your joint pain. Can be the culprit behind arthritis and joint pain, along with other health issues. So there's the agitation. Can be the culprit behind arthritis and joint pain, along with other health issues. And then click here, click to learn how to steer clear of this protein. That is the tease the solution. So they do it in this is probably honestly like 60 words. They go through PWAT all within 60 words. And so that's it. So I hope that this kind of went on a lot longer than I thought it would. But I really hope you got something out of that. If you have any questions, Obviously, I'm sure Stefan is in the group answering questions. If there's something specifically for me, I am on LinkedIn. You can find me. Or ask Stefan, and Stefan can reach out to me because I am in Copy Accelerator as well. But otherwise, I hope this was enjoyable. I hope you can use this. It's a really great way to start writing emails fast that are really good quality and just pumping out things that should start converting really well. So with that, I'll leave it there. Have a good one.